Brother Hatim, and you have joined us on Gianni Journey Radio. Be sure to check out our site and subscribe at tribe.giannijourney.com.
All my brothers and sisters, hold hands and bow your heads. Let us pray. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He dwelleth amongst the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? I say, defend the poor and the fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and the needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They go upon and but all the foundations of the earth are out of court. I have said, your God, and all of you are children of the Most High, that you shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, purge the earth, and God shall inherit all nations. Allahu Akbar.
What do it? What? Try it again.
This is Kadar Fix, and you are now listening to Gianni Journey Radio.
Keep up with the journey. Check out what we have done in the past. Go to journeyarchives.com.
This is Ivan Sheik, aka Ace, live from Shisha Lounge, and you are now listening to Gianni Journey Radio.
Be sure to follow Gianni Journey on Facebook, Google Plus, and Twitter. Check us out. Join the journey.
This is Ivan Sheik, aka Ace, live from Shisha Lounge, and you are now listening to Gianni Journey Radio.
You ain't gonna use it tomorrow?
You are now listening to Gianni Journey Radio with Monica. Enjoy. This is Gianni Journey Radio.
This is Willie. Welcome to Gianni Journey Radio. I want to give a shout out to Silver Kevin. All my sibling nation out there. I want to give a shout out to my mom. I give a shout out to my dad for raising me and my family for being around me. And I want to give a shout out to the people of my generation that's trying to do something big.
This is Cleveland, and you're listening to Gianni Journey Radio.
Peace, Hotel. This man Saw Hotel, aka Mr. Beardy. Mr. Beardy doesn't sound good. I think it sounds great. Right now, you're listening to Gianni Journey Radio. If you're not adding anything to the culture that you claim, you don't deserve to carry its name. This is Brother Hatim coming at you live, and you are now listening to the Gianni Journey Radio. Shouts out to the Gianni tribe, Gianni family. Stand up. Peace. If you're not adding anything to the culture that you claim, you don't deserve to carry its name. This is Brother Hatem coming at you live, and you are now listening to the Gianni Journey Radio. Shout out to Mr. Tasha. Stand up. You are now listening to Gianni Journey Radio. Peace. This is Gina. And you are now on Gianni Radio. Peace.
We have had enough. You heard it here first on Gianni Journey. We had enough. I 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 had enough. 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 I wanted to say another word, but Gina here, so I'm gonna try to restrain myself because you already know I have a cussing issue. Man. Hey, kids accepted. So hey. Alright, so right now they say we're having problems on YouTube, but I see somebody joining us on YouTube. I see somebody with us on Periscope. Shouts out to you. See somebody out there on Gianni Journey on Facebook. It's still sending data to LinkedIn, and we online. We online on all the YouTube channels. So I'm gonna have to go on and take one of those YouTube channels off. I don't know what's going on, and you want to see yourself? You right there. All right, so, well, no, because that'll take your attention off what you need to have your attention on. So, of course, y'all know this is Gianni Journey. Well, first off, y'all know y'all are in the congregation of the mighty. Y'all know y'all this is the congregation of the mighty, where your hustle builds muscle, the home of the stubborn minority. This is, tell them, Jeannie.
Gianni Journey Media.
Of course, you know this is the heart of Simple Production, and this is Folktales for Grown Folks. Hit it.
Well, we strive to blow up your old paradigms.
All the time. Family, so look, I was hoping to have a major announcement for you tonight. Didn't come through, so we're going to have to hold off. I'm trying, but I'm burning up. But we do have to invite you out to the G&J Mall. Be on the lookout for the commercials. Please like and share, because we want to get as many people in the house as we can, because I'm so tired of people talking to me like, we didn't get that many people out to the mall and you know what I'm saying? I'm like, the fuck you talking about? You know what I'm saying? See, family, we got to embrace every small step towards success. Every new person we see at the mall is a potential another 6 people coming. And we have the facility, so let's go on and do it, right? Right? And I ain't talking about, because I don't want nobody out there taking it personal. I ain't talking about nobody on the team. I'm talking about other people, you know what I'm saying? Because I get whispers, and y'all be whispering, right? You know, y'all know I get super hearing, or I could be having an illusion, because y'all know it was rough on me for those 3 dry days. So I could be crazy. Come on, Gene, we got to be able to see if somebody calling in. Lines are open. We're going to discuss the Proverbs. Also, it was something else that I needed to announce. G&J Mall, June 29th, 12 to 6 p.m. Setup for vendors is at 11 o'clock. Get there. because a lot of people is trying to get in those spaces. So I mean, because the vendors are responding, and I want to get the vendors a round of applause, Gina, if you would. Could you give the vendors a round of applause? It's so good to have an engineer back here. This is my engineer right here. Yup. Engineering training. Give him a round of applause. These vendors been coming out. So vendors, hang in there, because we got something big coming for you. And I think, well, I don't know. Let me just hold off, because the way we was gonna have it set up this time, but Destiny would not allow it. Me and the tribe, we're gonna sit down. We gotta sit down. We gotta recalibrate, recalculate, so that we could go and do this thing right. Because I'm thinking, because Sister Navita on the line, Sister Navita, I think we might be able to do what you suggested, because somebody else suggested that on the team too. We might need to push it to the week after that.
Give a round of applause to Mr.
You want to do that? Go ahead. Give a round of applause. That's that engineer, right? Also, make sure that you check out the June newsletter. The newsletter is a work in progress. We will be improving it. I bet you this is Navita calling the cuss our brother out.
No.
Oh, Sister Navita.
No.
Oh, it ain't? It's Lady J. Speaking of that, Sister Navita, I thought you was going to post that picture up, because Sister Navita clowned me today, and that shit was hilarious, and I think the world should see it. It's floating around my office. But the only thing is, Sister Navita, on the one with the plate, you need to put on there, where my reparations. That's all I want. That's all Brother Hatim requests. And then we could blast that. We could make a commercial with that one. We could blast that all over. Where my reparations.
Did you have on your sandals?
No, I ain't got them on yet. It ain't actually, it ain't really been sandal season for me. I don't know if it's been cool. So you gotta understand, I'm still on the fast, so I don't know if it's been cool or my blood iron is low. So I don't know. So something else. Any other announcements that I need to make? You got an announcement for something, Lady J?
Nope.
All right, so we're gonna jump right into this folktale family, and this one was difficult. Let me tell you why. Because it kind of spoke. It's kind of like a double speak, and it's confusing. And so when I went back and did the research, I found out that there's two different versions of the same story, which we run into, but although they was translated, and this is where the importance of translation come into play. Although they was translated from the same document, they was translated by two different individuals, and the two different individuals had different outtakes on it. So this is where culture comes in and plays a major role, because oftentimes you have to, when you doing things, you do them, if it is your culture, you do it to benefit your culture. So when you're translating, you have to be translating information that to the benefit of your culture. If you are building a building, you build the building to the benefit of your culture. All right? So we have to be very clear on that. Culture is a major piece, and is one that has been. There you go, Sasha.
Sorry.
Yeah. What you want to do?
Get on.
All right, come on, get on the show, baby. Culture is a major piece that we often overlook when we're talking about education, when we're talking about, no, I take that back. We don't overlook culture. What we do is we train our children to be assimilated into somebody else's culture, and to place somebody else's culture higher than theirs, right? And then what's even worse, sometimes we even go into this whole universal spiel that is not good for where we are. All right, so that's enough of Brother Hatim's rant. So we got two major announcements, right? I have one that's coming this near, right? Then we gonna at least it ain't gonna be major at first, but as it start building up and I start doing the work, it's gonna be major. Now, then we got another major announcement coming for July. So I want y'all to be ready. Right? Because it's give Gianni Journey a round of applause. Because family, that's right. Due to your support, it's real life here at Gianni Journey, family. And I'm hungry. My baby, I'm riding home. We're doing big things here. And y'all enable us. Now, story. So I got two girls that don't give a damn about their dad fasting. So the questions that's coming home is about food. What's your favorite fast food restaurant? And every dad knows that's nothing but a hint. So I say, well, my favorite fast food restaurant was a restaurant called Burrito As Big As Your Head. But they closed down. Oh. I said, but my favorite restaurant now is Peter Pit. Oh. Taco Bell. As we drive by Taco Bell. Chipotle's. As we drive by Chipotle. No. Peter Pit. And we ain't nowhere near Peter Pit. All right? So I'm like, come on now. Stop trying to throw the hints. That ain't... Y'all know...
Burritos big as your head is not even a thing.
Man, listen. That burritos... Your mama had a couple of them before they closed. Vicky, was it a place called Burritos As Big As Your Head? It was called the Bombas. And the burritos were literally as big as your head. Now, in my college days, I used to, well, in between, you know.
Y'all teaming up together to fool me.
No. Yeah. I'm trying to tell you. Look, burrito as big as your head. Those that remember, La Bombas. Oh, my God. La Bombas, burritos were that big and about that thick. Whether you got beans or steak. And it was the bomb. Lady J back on the line. What's up, Lady J? I'm just chopping it up a little bit. Just chopping it up. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I need the thumbs up whether y'all can hear her out there. So y'all there's no more fundraiser for Simba coming up anytime soon that you need to announce?
Oh, no, Sasha.
The only other thing that I do every year is just $10, 10 days of giving. So I every day reach out to 10 friends, ask them to pledge $10 leading up to camp.
Now, what do you call that again? Everybody listen up.
It's 10 days of giving, and you're just every day contacting 10 friends and asking them to donate $10 for 10 days.
Okay. So the individual donate for 10 days, or you going to ask 10 different people for 10 consecutive days? 10 people
for $10 for 10 days.
Girl, you should have made that a 21-day challenge and started on a Moja and worked your way for 21 days. Because I know you got more than 210 friends. You're a very popular person.
Probably.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I mean,
because I've done that every year for the last couple of years.
I don't know what that is.
So that's all I have renaming.
All right, if those out there on Spreaker, if those out there on Facebook, can y'all tell me how does this speaker system sound with Lady J? Let me see if I can turn it up on this, because you know my hearing is... All right, so Thank you, Sasha. I appreciate your moral support. All right, so pass me the folktale book.
You make this book.
All right, so I'm going to read this folktale, but we're going to explore it because sometimes it requires us to do some digger deeping. So this is, you gone?
Yep.
So this is one of those folktales that require us to do some digging, right? And now we got to clean off the rocks and all that. So we done found this folktale, but I want y'all to listen to the twist in the message, right? Depending on the version. An eagle was once captured by a man who immediately clipped his wings and put him into his poultry yard with the other birds, at which treatment the eagle was weighed down with grief. Later, another neighbor purchased him and allowed his feathers to grow again. The eagle took flight and, pouncing upon a hare, brought it at once as an offering to his benefactor. A fox, seeing this, exclaimed, "Do not cultivate the favor of this man, but of your former owner, lest he should again hunt for you and deprive you a second time of your wings." Now listen to that. So, I'm like, when I read that this morning, I hope y'all heard a little bit of confusion with me because I'm like, real life here, Jamie Jr. What happened? What happened? What happened?
She slipped in the water.
Okay. Did she break something?
No.
All right, it's real life here, Jamie Jr. All right. All right, here we go. So, we go to, so I read you one version. So here's another version. This one is shorter. An eagle was caught and had his wings clipped. A neighbor bought the eagle and let his wings grow out. A fox cautioned the eagle about paying tribute. Period. Favor those who do you kindness. Which I could kind of disagree with that, especially for the one that I just read. Now I just read y'all the Townsend version, so I won't go through the Townsend version. But let's go to the JBR collection. It says and this one is called The Eagle and the Man, but it's the same story. A man caught an eagle in a snare. He cut his wings close and kept him chained to a stump in his yard. A kind-hearted fowler, seeing the melancholy-looking bird, took pity on him and bought him. He was now well treated, and his wings were allowed to grow. When they had grown again sufficiently for him to fly, the fowler gave him his liberty. The first thing the bird caught was a fine fat hare, which he brought and gratefully laid at the feet of his benefactor. A fox, looking on, said that he would have done better to try to make friends with the first man who had caught him, which I could hear a little bit more sense in that one, and who might perhaps catch him yet again, rather than with the second, from whom he had nothing to fear. Now, I disagree with that, but hold on. Your advice may do very well for a fox, replied the eagle, but it is my nature to serve those who have been kind to me and to let those who choose to be governed by fear.
Yes.
Wow. All right, so now let's move to the less estranged version, because this is where it get crazy, right? A man took an eagle, pelted her wings, and put her among his hens. Somebody came and brought this eagle, and presently new feathered her. She made a flight of the hare, trussed it, and brought it to her benefactor. A fox, perceiving this, came and gave the man a piece of good counsel. Now the fox, in the first three versions we read, first two, because it was two versions where the fox actually spoke to the eagle. This one, the fox is speaking to the man. A fox, perceiving this, came and gave the man a piece of good counsel. Have care, says Renard, of putting too much confidence in this eagle, for she for she'll go go near one time or else. Oh, damn, this old English. Hold on. Have care, says Renard, of putting too much confidence in this eagle, for she'll go near one time or other else to take you for a hare. Upon this advice, the man plumbed the eagle once again. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got some work to do. We got some work to do today. We got a discussion right here because it is giving advice that in one way is sound, but in another way is dangerous, and in one way, to me, it's kind of so it's like somebody's culture is springing up out of this. You understand what I'm saying? Other than just Aesop. You got something you want to share about it, or do you need me to read something else?
No, I just think I think that line where it says your advice may do very well for a fox. And so it made me think, what is a fox's character? You know what I'm saying? Foxes are usually cunning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it may be in their nature to try and charm, you know, the captor, right?
Right.
But I think that the eagle is saying that's not its nature.
The eagle said it's not my.
You know what I mean?
He said, but it is my nature to serve those who have been kind to me, and to let those who choose be governed by fear. Let those who choose to be governed by fear be governed by fear. So, now that was dope. That one is, for those that want to look that up, that's the JBR collection. But the Townsend, let's hit on this Townsend one first. Then we can move through them. So this is the one that says, an eagle once captured by a man who immediately clipped his wings and put him into his poultry yard with other birds, at which treatment the eagle was weighed down with grief. Later, another neighbor purchased him and allowed his feathers to grow again. The eagle took flight and, pouncing upon a hare, brought it at once as an offering to his benefactor. A fox, seeing this, exclaimed, "Do not cultivate the favor of this man, but of your former owner, lest he should again hunt for you and deprive you a second time of your wings." Now listen to the fox advice. So the fox. Oh, okay. I thought you had hung up. So listen to that.
No.
Listen to that.
I want to tell you.
Go ahead.
It makes sense now where he's saying something about being governed by fear. Because he's saying if your actions are predicated upon what someone did to you, if you're doing this out of fear that he'll come after you, that's what's kind of ruling you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like now you're in freedom and you're so afraid of losing your freedom. You know what I'm saying? That you're, I don't know.
You paying attention to the wrong. You possibly paying attention to the wrong thing.
Yes.
Because the eagle, because remember, in one of these translations, the eagle was set free, and he brought back the gift to the man. Now because we're gonna have to look at that end where it switches, because that's critical for our conversation, because that last one, the way they ended was crazy, man. But I understand that. So the eagle being grateful upon being released, or being able to be able to grow his wings, because if you allow an eagle to grow his wings, he's not going to stay in the chicken yard. We know this. So this man got this eagle, nursed this eagle back to health, and allowed this eagle to be an eagle. The eagle flew out and caught a rabbit and brought it back to him. And the advice he received from the fox was an advice of fear. Why are you taking care of this dude when you need to be fearing the other dude? So you need to go and try to make friends with the other dude. And the eagle is like, boom, I'm not on that. I'm not on that.
Yo.
Go ahead.
It sounds like a pretty intense proverb. I'm just kind of tuning in. I'm sitting here chilling with Sis Navita. We grilling it up. Got some vittles popping.
Oh man.
Now it's time for the main course. What's this proverb on here?
All right, so the folktale is called An Eagle and His Captor. And basically what's going on, now we got, because the first story didn't make sense, so I had to do further research on this one. And let me go down and read what this say. It says, note, this combination shows how translations may vary. These were from the same original, but the two other translations relate two completely different fates for the eagle. So, in the first one, we have an eagle that is caught by one captor, one slave master. He's plucked and he put in a chicken yard. The eagle is depressed and overcome by melancholy, and another farmer come over and look at him, takes him, and allows him to grow his feather, or allows him or her to grow their feathers back, and they take off and fly. And the first thing that they jump on is a hare, and they find a nice fat hare, and they bring it back to the guy that nursed them back to health. A fox who saw this said, yo, eagle, you don't need to be giving food to the guy that helped you. You need to be giving food and trying to make nice with the guy that enslaved you. Now, the next story, which is another translation from the same document, talks about the man going down the same line all the way down to the fox. So the man grabbed the man took care of the eagle, allowed him to heal himself. A fox looking on at the first thing the bird caught was a fine fat hare, which he brought and gratefully laid at the feet of his benefactor. Now, in this story, they say that the benefactor released the bird and let the bird go free. A fox looking on said that he would have done better to try to make friends with the first man who had caught him, and he might perhaps catch him yet again, rather than with the second from whom he had nothing to fear. And the eagle responds, your advice may do very well for a fox, replied the eagle, but it is my nature to serve those who have been kind to me, and to let those who choose to be governed by fear be governed by fear. Now, I added that last part to help the translation. Now, the last one. Now, listen to this one, because this is where it gets crazy. So, we talk about the same eagle. We talk about the first man that caught him, chaining him, but this time he chained him to a stump. Another man noticed that the eagle was depressed, bought the eagle, and basically nursed him back to health. So, and it says, it gets to this point, it says, she made a flight at a hare. He trusted or caught it and brought it to the benefactor. A fox perceiving this came and gave not the eagle advice, but he went and talked to the man and said, have care, says Renard. So he's quoting something from European culture, says Renard, of putting too much confidence in this eagle, for she'll go nearer one time or other else times to take you for a hare. Upon this advice, the man plumbed the eagle once again. Plumbed? Yeah. That means he basically crippled him again, so he couldn't fly. So you got it? Long discussion. Confusing, but enlightening. Because it's some good advice and it's some bad advice. Because the eagle, let me ask this question. Should the eagle follow the fox's advice?
It sounds to me like the eagle was the only one that really, the eagle was the only one that has integrity. The eagle seems to be driven by integrity. Everybody else, are you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It seems like the eagle is driven by integrity, but the rest of them are driven by fear. The fox is driven by fear. The man got convinced to be guided by fear by I don't know the word to use, the outside source. They came and told him that the eagle was dangerous. But the eagle seems to purely be driven by integrity.
Now, but that brings up a strange, a sad point. What happened? Because in that last theory, what happened to the one that was full of integrity? In the last story, the eagle who was full of integrity ended up plumbed again because of the fear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, integrity is not. It's not respected, I guess. It's trying to put you in a vulnerable state because those that are willing to act outside of integrity, in a sense, have the upper hand, I guess.
Well, now let me say this, because this is where we get into the discussion once again, going back to culture. Because one of the things I try to stress to people is that you can't go into another people's environment, another being's environment, and expect their ways to be your ways. You understand what I'm saying? Because what is integrity for the fox? Was the fox really, because if you go back and you think about it, was the fox acting as a fox? Because integrity basically means whole. Was the fox acting as a whole fox? Was from all the folk tales we had about foxes, was this a behavior that you can actually expect from a fox? Were captors acting as captors?
I mean, foxes are known for being sly, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because they're not the biggest, they're not the strongest, but they have to survive. So if they...
Foxes really like that in the wild?
Oh, yeah. If they take on, if a fox... Let me... a quick story. My grandmother had a poodle that didn't know it was a poodle. A toy poodle. Frenchie thought he was the roughest dog on the damn block. Now, I'm old enough before animal control came in, and dogs used to run in packs when they got in heat. They'll come over on trash night, knock over the trash cans, and they will party all night. When a female dog was in heat, they'll be running around partying, knocking down trash cans, getting food, partying, having sex. And if you got caught the wrong place at the wrong time with one of those packs, you was fucked up. Now, Frenchie thought he could run with the pack. Frenchie thought he was a 200-pound Rottweiler, and he went out there and started messing with dogs as if he thought he was 200 pounds. Now, Frenchie got torn in half. I found his head in one part of the field, found his body in another part of the field. The point of the story is, because Frenchie didn't act like Frenchie, Frenchie got split in half. If Frenchie would have known his place, if Frenchie would have acted as Frenchie, so what I'm trying to say, if a fox was to go into the wilderness and try to act like a goddamn wolf, they wouldn't survive. You understand what I'm saying? So the rule system in nature for the wolf is different than the rule system for the fox. And it's different for the rule system for the eagle. And it's different for us. And it's different as it's different for other people. Because these are cultures. But I'm sorry, go ahead. Y'all quiet. What's going on? Did I talk too much?
No. I'm watching it on. I'm watching it on the TV and I'm listening to it on the phone. It's a different time, so I'll be having to wait for you.
Right. Don't just do you if you on the phone, just go on and focus on the phone because the phone is always going to be ahead because that conversation behind is going to take your mind. See? Turn that shit down. You're confusing me. I'm thinking I'm talking to myself. Y'all know I'm over here hungry. I'm like, damn, I'm hearing voices. I hear a heavenly voice. All right. So, huh?
I'm sorry, I think this picture is hilarious.
Oh, Navita sent it to you, or she posted it up?
It's not here on Facebook.
Oh my God! Did she at least put out where my reparations at?
Not on this one. This is 7 hours stuff.
God damn it, Navita. All right. God damn it. All right, but now, so here we go. So looking at this, all I'm saying is I think this is a description of culture clash. You know what I'm saying? Because we got different cultures clashing here. We got the fox culture and the eagle culture and the man culture, and even a different culture between the men. Because one man was able to be driven to act and think like a fox.
I think it's pretty clear too that the American experiment is not working. I mean, 300 million. I mean, I find myself talking about that kind of often, like with the idea of tribe being, like no bigger than 150 people, and like 150 people maybe even being a big ass tribe. But then tribes working together, like with each other, compared to having this experiment where it's 350 million people that supposedly are under the same banner.
Well, yeah, but now you got to remember, there's 50 banners, and then within those banners, there are, like for example, in Ohio, there are city banners, and to divide even the cities, there are county banners. So actually, America is kind of based on a tribal system. Although
at the same time, I can freely move between any of those banners, though.
Yeah, but if you do the wrong thing in the wrong place, you're gonna get fucked up. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You been to Milwaukee, nigga. You been to Chicago. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We family, but there's a difference.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Just with us. So you can only imagine with amongst all these different groups, and then all of us are being indoctrinated in a certain way. So there's a benefit, but then there's a downside to what you're saying. I understand the downside that you talk about, but understand that America is already broke up into tribes. We the only ones that's possibly not acting in that tribe. We still, in many cases, many of us are still the ego trapped in the farmyard. Not that we're pretending like the story of the ego that thought he was a chicken. Many of us know that we egos, but for some reason, we have not been given the time to grow the feathers to be able to escape, or the benefactor hasn't come to at least assist us and unchain us. Because there's no way you can hold it. I mean, how you hold an ego in a chicken yard, a full-grown ego in a chicken yard? With whether he could fly or not, that's a bad situation for them chickens.
Yeah, it's gonna eat some chicken.
Oh yeah, he gonna be eating some damn chickens. You understand what I'm saying? And if you look at our situation, it's very similar. We're trapped without our wings. It's not that many of us don't know that we're eagles. It's the fact that we, the very wings that we need to fly have been clipped. And we sitting up in here, boom. You know what I'm saying? But then some of us operate on that fear model that the fox has put into us or whispered in our ear man, you need to go and give your rewards, or if you are able to fly, you need to go and try to make friends with that one over there, because you don't got nothing to fear from this one over here. Rather than just being ego and say, I'm ruling the skies. I'm putting myself in a situation where I ain't got to worry about neither one of them. I'm going to salute the one that does help me, and, you know what I'm saying, watch the one that didn't help me. I know I need to look out for him now. See, because living in the wild is all about being predator or prey at all times. At all times. And that's what one of the things we got to understand as a people, because freedom doesn't mean that you don't have problems. Freedom doesn't mean that you don't have people trying to take your freedom. Freedom doesn't mean that you don't have problems and that you don't have arguments and that you always have money. Freedom means that you are constantly having to grind. This is what it means. Freedom
ain't free.
Freedom ain't free. Nor easy, nor lucrative. For a mass amount of us, it's not. But we have to understand, it takes hard work, dedication, persistence.
And I'm going to say some shit that probably might offend some people. I remember, I'm actually about to go ahead and open up this little Pandora's box, because I had said something a while ago that I actually don't even necessarily agree with. I'm about to try to tie this all together. My phone might die in the process. I had said a while ago that women should be heard, seen and not heard. I said that there was some relevance to that. When I come back, I thought about it, and I didn't have an opportunity to talk about it. What I realized is that men should learn, I don't like the word should. I think historically, men knew that they communicated best amongst men, and women communicated best amongst women. I was just this past Saturday, my little cousin graduated. I can't believe she 18, graduated from high school. I'm old as hell out here. Remember when she was born?
You're old, man.
She had a graduation party. She had a graduation party. We went to Sharon Woods. So I was with my little cousin. Another one of my little cousins. She wanted to walk on the trail, so we walking around on the trail. We passed this Muslim family. And all of the men were sitting together and all of the women were sitting together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I said that to highlight the relationship between the men and the women in the village. Our women are under the impression that they're independent, but the only reason they're independent is because men protect them. But the men that they quote unquote are being protected by are their enemies, the police. Black women think they can pick up the phone and call the police like they're calling their ally. No. Black men are the only ally of the black woman. There is no other ally for the black women. The police ain't your fucking ally. They're the ally of the dollar. And the dollar is the enemy of the black people.
So that's one of the wings. That's one of the wings that's been clipped on this eagle called ADOS, right? You know what I'm saying? And also now, you know I often quote The Godfather, but Don Corleone, the older one, said, I think, to Michael Corleone, he said, it's good that you're not, he said something along the line, it's good that you're not careless, because only women and children can be careless. It's not that, how can I put it? It's not that women should be seen and not heard for me. This is me personally. It's that men understand, well, I ain't gonna say just there's consequences for shit. And a lot of those consequences in the physical world go to the physical realm. And the ones that's supposed to take care of the goddamn physical realm is the man. So when it comes to that outside shit, outside enemies, whether they look like you or whether they look like others, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to those situations, I think it's best for men to do it, because we understand, we are built for the consequences that come, because we are not going arguments. And this is one of the pieces that a lot of us don't. arguments are, how many arguments have been necessarily settled by a peaceful means and shit? Arguments are a state of escalation that's moving to something else. You understand what I'm saying? Because by the time, in most cases, when you're arguing, and you know it, I know it. I mean, it's been situations where in a sense, we had to kind of step back because it's like, dude, I know where this shit is going.
At some point in time in an argument, whether it stays verbal or it becomes physical, somebody's going to back down, and that might mean the person who's dead.
And you said that might mean the person that's dead, right? In those cases, it's a choice. It's the person that's dead, and in some cases, it's the person that's wise, and in a lot of cases, it's the coward. See, but oftentimes we get caught up in this bravado. And we go to battle over shit that is not worth it. Do you understand? You know what I'm saying? And then oftentimes we are propelled because of other people who don't have skin in the game, because I keep going back to that. Because a lot of times in our community and in the stuff that we're doing, if an individual has skin in the game, they're not liable to just put individuals in fucked up situations. Why? Because I'm gonna lose an important part of who I am. There's a possibility. Some people don't understand that shit. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't understand that shit. So if I'm getting in an argument with another man about a parking spot, I have to really evaluate, is this parking space and my ego really worth what I'm about to invest in this shit? Because if I get out this car because this motherfucker cussing at me, is it really worth it? And then, now, this goes back to the intrinsic value of the ego type thing. You know, the ego, I'm not living in fear. You know what I'm saying? A parking space, somebody bumping into you, certain words that's being spoken in certain situations. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, yo, is this really important enough? Is this a high enough stake that if I go out or I take this motherfucker out, right? Is it going to leave a statement? Is it going to leave something of value for my family that they go, you know what I'm saying? Because my daughters can't hug a reputation. You know what I'm saying? Like I be hearing niggas talking about these penitentiary chances and shit. I hear that shit a lot. Penitentiary chances. You know, I'm like, yo, you doing? I mean, I'm saying, who? You being around men all day? Oh, nigga, hold on. Now, unless there's going to be something that's valuable enough for me to exchange me being out here and doing what I'm doing and me being in there, or me being right here doing what I'm doing and me being in the ground, because I have no problem making those choices because I have made those choices before. But I want people to understand the level that what you're talking about, where it's coming from. Somebody who come up out of an environment where shit gets volatile, and you might need to be able to grab. You might have to have access to a motherfucking piece.
And shit is getting more and more volatile, like, by the day, man. Like, just today, my best friend, my brother, you know what I mean, he getting married. I'm the best man. He sent out a text today to all of the groomsmen. Well, yesterday, actually, he sent out a text to all of the groomsmen. And it was, I know them all, but they're all my dogs. You know what I'm saying? We've all been friends for 15 plus years. You know what I mean? But one of them, I didn't have his new number. So I text like, yo, who this? And then I didn't realize
she didn't respond until today. So he said something back, and I called the number. We was kind of like bumping heads, like, who this? Like, you know what I'm saying?
You speak first, nigga.
He recognized my voice, you know what I mean? Because
Right.
I was moving. I didn't really have a chance to really analyze his voice. But it was like, it was getting tense. Because it's just a whole level of tension out here. It's a whole, like, yo, I'm saying to them, yo, don't fuck with me right now. If we squad, if we team, like, yo, I'm ready. Like, leave me the fuck alone, because you might turn into a thing. You know what I'm saying? On accident.
On accident. Or over something stupid. Or over something that is not worth. See, because what we need to start being able to do is evaluate our value to the movement. Now, there is a such thing. Nomo told me a long time ago. There's a such thing as cannon fodder. He was giving us a history about the Civil War, and he started talking about cannon fodder, and he kept on saying it like I knew. You know, people in the room knew what it was, and being young and arrogant, a lot of people won't ask. But I was that. What in the fuck is cannon fodder? Is this something they put in the cannons? He said, no. Cannon.
What now?
Cannon fodder.
Oh, cannon fodder.
Yeah. He said, what is cannon?
You back into the cannon, like to shoot at people?
No. Cannon fodder is the niggas you or the people you put in front of the cannon to catch the shit so your good troops can go while they're reloading the cannons and get to them before they're able to blast them again. You don't put your best troops. If you look at Hannibal's strategy, you look at Shaka Zulu's strategy, you look at all of the great strategists, they never put their best troops in the front. Those individuals are called cannon fodder. Individuals that are trained to run into the gunfire and in a sense weaken the enemy by one, taking up bullets and being able to move and take up a certain amount of space so that the rest of the troops can... Huh?
Especially back then, because people had muskets. So you got to reload. Like, once that first round of shots is off, then that's when the real gangsters come out.
Oh, is the shit still going on? That's what Marines do. When they talk about storming beaches and shit, do you not understand that Marines are trained to die? I mean, when you look at it, you're running. Your name is Marine. You come from the ocean. You're rushing a beach. You have to rush a beach, and you have to build all the shit that you need to protect yourself while you're rushing that beach. You're taking up bullets and conquering space, which gives other people time, which is my superpower, space and time and shit. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, we into man talk and shit. The lady's probably bored and shit. I know the lady. Nobody got a comment on what he said or anything that I said? I ain't seeing nothing on the board, nothing. But, yeah, I mean, because like I said, one, I understand. Oh, Lady Jada hung up. I understand your frustration. But we don't want to go to the extremes to where Muslims have their women, because our women was never like that. But we have to be at a place where we are able to understand the balance and the roles that individuals do, because you do have some warrior women that'll handle it quicker than me and you. But then the shit that we have to get out of is this whole flip-flop shit. If you're going to be in Zynga, bitch, excuse my language, if you're going to be in Zynga, get all the way out there and do that shit. Don't be in Zynga and then be looking at me after you done talked yourself into an ass whooping. Please.
And I'm going to say this, since we, I don't know if people is listening that the whole concept of circling the wagons is squarely on my mind, because I'm thinking squad, like I'm thinking gang right now. I don't know about people in the wagons, within the wagon circle, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause it's a real sharp mentality these days. Of even myself, like when I could talk about squad, I could talk about the tribe, and I could talk about myself as a tribe. Like I'm divided amongst myself. So there's parts of myself that threaten other parts of myself. And then it's the same. It's like when I look outward, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like, as much as I really just kind of wanted to lash out, I ultimately got to say when I'm unified within myself, then nobody can shake me. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, it's also a process. It's also like I'm doing my best to find myself, and I know where my heart is at. You know, I know where my head is fucked up. And, you know what I mean? Emotionally, I'm fucked up. Like we all dealing with this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a G check to the tribe. Like,
see,
you know,
but now
we got real shit going on outside of the wagon.
Oh,
so within the wagon, it would be fucked up for somebody to get hurt inside the wagons
because of some fuckery, or we have to go to war because of a wrong mate choice. Or I mean, see, this is why it's important. Like, for example, they keep talking about the codes, and so that we can codify the behavior, and we're moving towards that in Giamma. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's certain shit that is unacceptable, totally unacceptable from the outside. It's words that's totally, it's words and ways of doing shit that's totally unacceptable. But when you start talking about circling the wagons, one of the first things that we have to be able to do as a tribe, which I'm constantly trying to do, and I'm trying to get people to understand that I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to find ways where we are able to provide livings for motherfuckers. Quasi, what was one of the first things I was trying to do when you showed that you were serious with what the fuck we doing?
I mean, when I showed up, you wasn't trying to do it. You succeeded. You got me paid.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody on my team, I tried to find a way to get paid. I hate asking for donations. I want to ask for dues, and I want to help you find a way that you can go on and be able to pay dues. You know what I'm saying? If I have a track record for nothing else, I have a track record of getting my team paid. You know what I'm saying? As Meyer Lansky, or whatever his name, and The Godfather say, I always make money for my friends. That's what I do. And we have a lot of so-called tribes that ain't even see, because we understand, because in the very definition of a nation, which when you break it down is nothing but a large city. And when you break that down, that's nothing but a large community. Which when you break that down, that's nothing but a large clan or a group of clans. And when you break that down, that's nothing but a group of tribes. And when you break that down, that's nothing but a group of families. And when you break that down, that's nothing but a group of individuals. All of them fit the same definition. A stable, historically developed community, state, group, with territory, economic life, distinctive culture, language in common, and a distinctive culture. We got the distinctive culture. We got the language in common, because right now we building that just by us saying, and I say, what's the day? The motherfucker's able to tell me what the day is in our language. And economic life. I try to make sure that everybody around me got an economic life. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Even when people donate, I hate the donations in this way. Don't get me wrong, family. I appreciate the donations, but I feel that I have to do something or provide you with something, because I want you, when you're looking at what we're doing, I want you to look at you investing in you, or you investing in at least a group that you want to see succeed. Not you giving. I want us to have some type of exchange. If it ain't nothing but me and you having a conversation. You understand? And that territory. All right, cool. We can't afford to buy a house right now. We can't afford to buy, because if you look at the original Giambi chapter or the charter, and it says what we were supposed to be doing, we supposed to have a men's house, a woman's house, where initiations and stuff is supposed to go on, and we supposed to have a neutral clubhouse. We can't afford that right now. But what we got right now, we got territory on the internet. I'm not fucking around with this. Everybody else could play. Everybody else could try to get paid. Listen, family, it's bigger than that. Because it's hard for us to say we a tribe if we not eating. And everybody...
I'm thinking about, too, like one of the main things that makes the United States, I don't know, I was going to say Israel, but then I was going to say the United States. It's hard to say either one. I guess it would have to be United States as the backbone, and then Israel as the little brother, more or less, even though who knows who called the shots these days. But the ally, Israel would have never been able to, the current Israel would have never been able to thrive if the United States didn't support it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then I think about Giambi. I even think about myself and some of the fuck shit I done got myself involved in, some of the movements that was tearing down Giambi, man. And there's people that may or may not be listening that know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. That it was other movements out here that rightfully should have been an ally of the Giambi tribe that wanted everybody. It's big me, little you, man. It's big me, little you. And it's everything, like, what's happening at the expense. Like, this can't be great. I have to be great. That thing, I have to belittle that thing over there because I want to uplift this thing over here. When it's supposed to be like, that thing over there is great because this thing over here is great. And this thing over here is great because that thing over there is great.
That's not, and they're not operating from a tribe. They're operating from an individual. But go ahead.
And then that shit, like, and I'm really literally sitting up here like my whole life balance is focused because lives got changed, lives got created. I'm speaking subliminally. I don't think the right people is listening that need to hear this message, but I got so much shit, man. Bro, something need to happen quick because I don't know how much longer I got out here. I'm about to blow the fuck up. Like, I can't hold all this shit in for too much longer. We got to make something happen. We got to utilize Quasi because Quasi ain't got that much longer.
Hold on.
All that shit now.
Hold on. Now, this is what I'm saying. My family, I try to make sure we all eat. We all eat. You understand what I'm saying? This is why the meetings bi-weekly, right, are important for us to come together so that we can eat and we can see that from the fruits of what we've been doing. We've been able to feed ourselves and we're able to go on camping trips and we see we've been able to feed ourselves and transport ourselves because we work. But what happens is that some of us get so caught up in life that we forget that if it was not for this, there would not be that. And that's what fucks me up the most about anything that we do. And it's like the wings being plucked off the motherfucking ego because we're stuck in the farmyard when we could be so much higher and so much farther than when we are. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting up here like, damn. You know what I'm saying? You don't realize that you eating because of this shit. It amazes me, right? You hook people up, you put them in situations, they start to eat, and they forget who fucking plate they eating off. So it's like when Giambi do some shit, when we do some shit, and we are being able to put in positions because we doing some shit, and motherfuckers are just running off from the table as if they did the shit by themselves or saying, thank Jesus. I ain't got no problem with Jesus, but don't allow Jesus to interfere what the fuck was going on in reality. I don't like that shit. That shit bothers me. But you know, as I do, I'm quiet about it in most cases. You know what I'm saying? But I want people to, because we're putting belief energy, we're putting time and space energy in the wrong places. Do you know Tithes are about you giving to something that spiritually feeds you. I used to, and you heard me say this 100 times. I used to tell my boys, even before any of the current people, I said, listen, brothers, y'all ain't understand, man. I basically laid out a religion for y'all. All you got to do is this, and this. Let's build. You ain't got to worry about food. You ain't got to worry about none of that. Let's work together. It's going to be provided for us. And they had absolutely no reason to doubt, because for 3 years before I came out with it, they were eating. I had a brother that used to make fun of me because I said, man, I feed the nation. Come to my house, it'd be 20 motherfuckers eating. Everybody full. Nobody, you homeless? All right, cool, we're going to work something out. We got a system here. Niggas start sabotaging the system. But it's not their fault. It's because they can't see, and they can't see beyond themselves, because when you really start thinking tribe, you think bigger. Because it's like, boom, Quason, I need you to get into the tribe mindset when you on your explosion shit. Because how can your explosion, will it benefit the tribe or will it hinder the tribe? This is where we got to be. Because I be wanting to do some fucked up shit too sometimes. But then I always got to think, is it going to build the tribe or is it going to hinder the tribe? We almost 5 generations deep. If not more than that. 5. And it's like, yo, right now we doing better than we have ever done. Now my timing was messed up with what I told you, because I wasn't thinking. But other opportunities are going to be coming present. But we need people focusing, because when we put our minds together and we start working, doors open, man. We should, as Giame, this ain't hot tip, as Giame, we get up every morning and we toast our ancestors. I don't know if people really understand that when you are participating in something like that, you actually have that energy around you. People be like, oh, you ain't supposed to fast without water. You can't go no 21 days. Motherfucker, I toast every day. You mean to tell me my ancestors can't get me through this shit? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? This is what we dealing with, the mind state of atheists and people that actually don't believe in shit, that's reaching for straws, looking for something to work, looking for some big material thing, rather than being able to see the small blessings that land right in front of them. Listen, man, and like I said, right now it's coming together because, like I said, the way we moving as a tribe now, Sister Navita called me the other day and said, opportunity. Opportunity. I said, opportunity? Blah, blah, blah. We ain't going to get into it. We ain't going to get into it, and she can tell you about it over there. We was able to move on that shit immediately. Whether it work or it don't work. We was able to put up the money, and then, you know what I'm saying? I'm able to look at the team and be like, I'm able to look at the tribe and be like, this money ain't shit. We can get this. Now I got people like, oh, okay, cool, let's do it then. Hell, Malcolm X Festival. You 200, you 100, you 200, boom, boom, boom. Family is able to produce that. Come on now. What the fuck can we do? I'm sorry. You can't let me go off. Brother Kwame is on the line. I've been cussing too much. He calling in to pull the reins in. Go ahead, Brother Kwame.
I was just thinking about the folktales, and as you guys were pointing out, context is everything. So, if you think of animals within the setting of Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle.
Uh-oh.
The Jungle Book, excuse me. They had an understanding amongst each other, the animals did, where people still got to eat, but there were sacred grounds, and basically you couldn't act on your very own accord. And if you did, there was punishment. So there's that context in which to think of the story, and reciprocity is in order. So that's the critical piece. When reciprocity is in order, that's when the jungle, excuse me, the animals of the jungle understand themselves that they're one and a part of the whole. And if anyone gets out of hand or misbehaves, there's consequences because that's reciprocity. And on the other hand, in the sense that if you understand yourself to be one and part of the whole of, let's say, that eagle's setting, then his being free would require him to reciprocate. And his offering of the rabbit was his attempt to do so. Now, on the other hand, if you think of it outside of the Jungle Book, and the animals' understandings that they had with each other, then we get into what you were stressing, Hot Tim, in the sense that, Brother Mario Beatty makes the argument that, and others have as well, makes the argument that Ma'at is only functionable within your tribe. In other words, what you were saying is, don't extend the rules you have within your tribe to the understanding that those outside your tribe will have that same, those same rules. Go ahead.
No, man. Now, and I want to stress this: reciprocity is economics. Reciprocity is the original. Reciprocity is economics. And one of the reasons that we suffer in our communities in many ways is because we don't practice reciprocity with us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We expect the bad shit to come, but we don't want to practice reciprocity, not realizing that we start small flows. If it ain't nothing but pennies, if we exchange pennies, if me and Kwame exchange pennies long enough, we get a flow. And other things start to come in. And when you start it, as they said in that one movie, House of Dreams or House Fields or whatever, if you build it, they will come. Markets are based. Field of Dreams. If we start, once we start that, this is why I keep on telling people, well, why don't you make Giami a nonprofit? Because I don't want us to get caught up in seeking money out there first. I want us to be able to raise money for ourselves. Because before even, like with the Malcolm X Festival this year and last year, before we talked to the elders, we was able to come to the table with what this is what we're able to produce. Reciprocity. We're giving this to the community. Can y'all match this? Or can y'all help with this? And the community give back. And although it starts off small, it always starts as a trickle. As the more you practice that Ma'at and really believe and work that Ma'at principle of reciprocity, because it's a universal. I'm quite sure Kwame can give you an equation that possibly could show reciprocity for real. It's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? And that eagle, as he said, the eagle was practicing reciprocity. You gave to me, so I'm going to return to you. So now our debts are clear. So it is a possibility that eagle could come down there and kill that man. Because I done paid my debt to you. I don't owe you shit. You ain't in the eagle family. You pray.
Ain't there 42 laws of mind?
Now, there's 42 negative confessions of mine. Well, they only call them negative confessions. 42. What's the term, Kwame? 42.
Affirmation.
42 affirmations of my eye. There's 10.
Right. But there's only 7 laws, though, right? Exactly. I'm glad you said that like that, because there's only 7 laws. The Hermetic principles are the laws, right? 7.
Yeah.
Give me an example.
Interesting that.
What laws do you mean? I'm not necessarily sure.
Hermetic principles. I can't think of all of them. I know the first one is all is mental, and then it's like the laws of
that's Hermetic.
And,
that's not Hermetic.
Sexuality.
That's not Meiotic. That's Hermetic. That's
right,
the Hermetic.
Yeah.
That's the Hermetic law. What you're talking about is the truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity, balance, order, and harmony. But then also you have not all is mind, but control of thought, control of action, devotion to purpose. So
referred to as the Kemetic virtues.
Those are the virtues. The laws are the laws the 7? So we got 10 virtues, and then we got 7. We got the 7 laws. Are they called laws?
I'm not familiar with that terminology, so I can't be sure.
Okay.
I mean, when Quasi starts off with all is mental, when I think of the development of at least our understanding of the development or even redevelopment of the quote-unquote understanding of the universe, that was one aspect of that understanding.
Right.
But then it starts to develop and incorporate the understanding of how, I'm real rusty with this, but let me not lie to you and just say that that understanding begins to develop. So it starts and you knew when I say you knew, I'm talking about once the ancient areas of Kemet. So it starts in you knew, and then it develops more in Manefer, and then it reaches its highest development in what becomes Waset. And so you have, and they don't contradict each other, although a cursory understanding might, lead one to believe that. They don't contradict each other. They build upon each other, including what came before, but including that and then building upon it. And so, that's, so when you start off with all is mental, I think of how that understanding of some would call it spirituality, but I tend to stay away from that term in these regards. But their understanding of how the universe works.
Right. Now the all is mental is attributed, at least in this realm or this world, Western world, to the Hermetic text. The Maya piece that we talk about a lot of times is truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity. What are those called? What's the term for that? Truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity. Maya is truth. Maya is just. Maya is
right. They just refer to them. I mean, you can refer to them as attributes.
Attributes. Okay.
And various other things. But yeah. So. That's all I can give as far as my understanding at this point.
That's dope how he said that. That's all I can give at my understanding at this point too.
Yeah, me too. For real. I mean, I've been meaning to commit it to memory, the Hermetic principles, because I want to.
We had a chart here at Giami for you.
Enough to sit down.
We had a chart here at Giami for you. We got a calendar. Each day, I mean, if you listen to each day, I cover demonic aspect of the day. Like today would be justice.
You covered the hermetic.
I covered the hermetic. Today would be correspondence. So the ones you talking about is all is mental or mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. Those are hermetic laws. Of course, we know Ma'at is truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity, balance, order, and harmony. Then we got the Nguza Saba, of course, is what what brings us up to where we are, and you see a slight connection because that's going to have to be one of the classes so that you can start understanding the connections.
Yes, that's what I want to do. Yes, that's what I want to do. I so want to do a class on that because I was already once I started reading the Mesonetter, I started to make overlap between the first thing that caught my attention was the Kemetic deities like Heru.
Right.
And then the what do you call them?
Nature? The other nature?
Congo.
Oh, you talking about
Orishas. The Orishas.
The Orishas, right. The Orishas and the Kemetic deities. I started to study the overlap between them, and then I even took it to the Nguza Saba and saw some overlap there.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And then I started to look how numbers even started to build on each other, on themselves.
Right.
The process through which they become the next number.
Right.
And that explanation was so profound. I kind of got away from it. I haven't thought I've just been looking through my journal, and that's all I wrote about for a period of time, and I haven't been able to really do that. The next step is the Hermetic principles, because I feel like the Hermetic principles is kind of maybe the oldest, and it feels like the oldest. It feels like the most basic. Everything kind of develops from that, talk or whatever you know, however you said.
I mean, the Greeks refer to him as talk.
But Hermes is the Egyptian
Kemetic.
Right.
Tahuti is the Kemetic.
Jehudi or Jehudi, Tehudi, and when you get into Hermes, then you're getting a Greek understanding of what they came across. Because there was no Hermes before Jehudi.
Right. And I want to stress this. This is where what I'm talking about far as the story, looking at the cultural differences. Because the Greeks did what they needed with the deities. The culture did what it needed with the deity. Right? And in a sense, this is the same thing we see with these stories. These stories did what they needed with the stories. If you put somebody in slavery and then you release them, there's a good chance that they're going to come back on you, so you might as well keep them in slavery. That is what the last story tells you. You can't release somebody from slavery and not watch your back, even if you help them. And this is what we're dealing with over here. But we want to, like I said, because the part of the danger is because we haven't embraced our culture all the way, and we on some universal shit, we thinking that everybody is mentally dealing with the world in the same way we are, which puts us at a detriment and which puts us in jeopardy. I'm sorry, go ahead. Hello?
No, again, I know that idea keeps coming up in our conversation, and that is within the tribe, you practice those things, that promote the tribe.
Right.
Ma'at works fine within our tribe, but when you try to universalize it to, let's say, your enemy,
you in trouble.
Hell, that's the reason for diplomacy, because you understand that your enemy does not have your interest at heart.
Exactly. And even, I mean, and then we go to like Marcus Garvey. I talk about this all the time. In the little blue book, it was a little book. It's a little book that's white and blue. I can't remember the name of it. Somebody out there I know, somebody out there in Geometry Journey know the name of the damn book, where Marcus Garvey tells you exactly what a diplomat is supposed to do. And he says one of the skills that a diplomat need is lying. You know, and it's like, yo, we miss all that shit. We don't understand that they do it with us. Okay, I'm gonna vote for the such and such, and they get in the booth, and in private they do their own thing. You know what I'm saying? We're understanding that, okay, for us, my word is bond. As an individual, that works perfectly for you if you're just an individual. Your word being bond is not good for the goddamn group. If you are making a deal with somebody outside of you, right, somebody outside of our collective, your word is not motherfucking bond.
And again, that goes to, you know, those three critical words, Hatem, that you constantly remind us of in terms of honor, loyalty,
and sacrifice
within the tribe. And maintaining that honor requires that integrity that you were speaking of, Quasi, earlier. The loyalty piece, I mean, you constantly speak of that. And, you know, I deem myself a loyal individual.
Very.
And, you know, and so, you know, but these are the things that we build amongst ourselves. This is part of the codification of Jinyame. You know, those three things. and one can break it down so that they encapsulate all of my eyes.
There you go.
All of the Saba.
Without clashing.
Yeah.
Without clashing.
Right. But when those things are extended outside the family, naively, then, you know, look at our economic practice. That's what happens when those principles are extended outside the family.
Shit, that's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's horrible. But we as a tribe, we got to come up with a staple for them. We got to come up with a staple for ourselves. We got to come up with a staple and something that we, because like in geometry, because one of the things I do have, because a lot of this shit just pops out. You know what I'm saying? For years, it pop out in conversations, and we will write it down because I'll be talking to different people and be like, honor, loyalty, sacrifice. But whoa, what is honor? Honor means you place something above yourself. You know what I'm saying? You hone yourself, or you sharpen yourself, and you become skilled at what you're doing. Loyalty. What is loyalty? Loyalty is sticking by the side and being with your people and being with your brothers and your sisters at all costs. Right? And but one of the things that I had to do when I was writing about loyalty was I had to look at how loyalty was being used against us, because we gonna be naturally loyal. I ain't gonna even say naturally. Some of us are more loyal than others, and this is what happens. We get pulled into some bullshit by somebody who's not loyal, especially when it's operating outside the family. So they'll get in beef, or they'll get in trouble outside the family, and our loyalty to them will drive us to get in a fucked up situation with them. So the one thing I had to qualify for some of the young people I was working with is loyalty is first to the family, then or the tribe, the nation, whatever we calling it. That is the key loyalty. Now, what you have to measure when you're dealing with people in your life is if your loyalty will take you outside of the principles of my eye, are you practicing loyalty? If me rolling on them motherfuckers down the street is going to take me out of my eye, right? You my boy. I done connected with this group. We got our certain principles. I have a role. I have a purpose. But you my boy. I grew up with you since you was young. Give me the pistol. I'm going to go down here. We're going to blast on these white boys or these boom, 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 this opposite set. Are your actions truly loyalty now that you with us? You went outside of our group and you did something that put you outside of my eye. But inside the group, when we roll, we are in line with my eye. What does that mean? That means that we have, in a sense, the universal forces at our back. And even if they're just imaginary, I want y'all to think about the power of this. Even if it's just imaginary, right? There is no hesitations in your actions. Because when you know that you're acting in right and you're doing right, family, I feel sorry. See, this is why a motherfucker, because I'm going to be very clear with you. This is why a motherfucker could run into a middle of a mall with a vest full of explosives and pull the shit without hesitation. Because they believe that what they're doing is right. Not only for them, but their explosion, Quasi, listen, their explosion benefits their tribe. So all my brothers, when I'm talking to y'all, I'm trying to get y'all to understand, listen, I need you training. I need you training young people. We got young people that we need to be concerned about. I know you mad. I know shit kind of fucked up for us, but we could make it better for them, and we could guide them so that we could be at 65 and get pulled over by a police officer, and the motherfucker want to harass us, and we, hold on, let me call my lawyer. Hold on, let me call my city representative. Hold on, let me call the governor, motherfucker. Okay, cool. I'll be out in 12 hours. Not even 12 hours. Matter of fact, the jail person that books me is going to be like, look, here, you go and wait out. Go to a hotel or something. We'll call you when it's time for you to come in. There's a contract here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Boom. Everybody be like, that wasn't fair. That's not just. But this the same shit. This is the same shit that all these rich families been doing. They've been doing business. They've been doing business amongst themselves for a long time, and they make it hard for you to do the exact same shit. Why? Because that's when success is bred. When y'all practice over and over again and exchanging money. So one of my sons marries one of your daughters. One of your daughters married one of my sons, and Navita's grandson, and my grandchildren are hooking up because we keeping all of that money together, and we're keeping that cycle of reciprocity going. What the fuck do you think is a royal family? I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, and it's not hard. This shit is not hard. These motherfuckers ain't got a lock on this shit. As a matter of fact, this motherfucker's out their control. It's out of there. It's out of control for them. But family, it's we're approaching 98 minutes. God damn it. Y'all know I gotta cuss. And like I said, we got some major announcements to make. I'm gonna have to call the tribe up on the line probably sometime tomorrow, maybe over this weekend. We can sit down, we can chop it up, because we have a possible major event popping off, but we're having some major roadblocks, right? Not necessarily fuckery, but pretty close. That we have to work out so that we could go and pop this thing off. And family, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Once again, be looking for changes. It's coming at the end of this, probably in the next couple of months, in the next couple of weeks. And then also, because we're going to streamline. Be on the lookout for our July newsletter. If you haven't got the June newsletter, it's on the timeline. Get the newsletter. Let us know what you think. Help us improve. Help us grow. Somebody just a FYI, in our NBHB, we called them the 7 laws of Mayat and the 10 virtues. Right. But you heard Kwame, the older brother in this. So they're not laws, they're attributes. So we'll fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is a process. And you know what, family? We get better by being wrong, goddammit. I'm wrong all the time. I'm live. Y'all
man,
go ahead.
Like you were saying, man, we hone each other.
That's right. Sharpen each other. You know what I'm saying? And place each other and lift each other up. So shit, dude. Hey, you know, like I said, there's a change to be made in the goddamn handbook. Who wrote the book? Somebody on Symbol Circle, Geometry Chapter. Who wrote the book? I'm quite sure we got enough influence to get that old motherfucker to change that. Oh man, family, I gotta get me some soup. Well, actually, it's broth, but I gotta get whatever it is. I gotta get it, and go to bed. You know, the girls gotta go to the camp tomorrow. So, family, I want to remind you, and this is a strong reminder. Listen, nothing ever changes the world but a stubborn minority. We are that. So I'm screaming for reparations. I'm screaming loud. You understand what I'm saying? Who is this on Symbol Circle Geometry Chapter? There's only a couple people that it could be. But I'm screaming reparations until I'm buried. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. I need my wings back so I can soar. Fuck both of them. I'm just being honest. The holder, the captor, and the benefactor. You know, I might try. I'm gonna be like the ego. You deserve this big hair, but I'm flying away. Oh, it's the traveler. What's up, bro? How you doing? So, stop. Why you so shy, man? You don't call in no more and shit. You know, but it's cool. But anyway, family, this is the home of the stubborn minority, where the congregation of the mighty gathers, where your hustle builds muscle. This is Giami Journey Media. Of course, you know this is a Heart of a Symbol production, and we have killed another folktale for grown folks, even though there still should be questions and ideas that's flowing about this folktale, because we got into some other issues, and y'all have to understand that sometimes just having the conversation will spark other conversations. So you can't always be striving to be in control of shit, because sometimes some of our family members got shit they need to get off their chest so that we can make sure that everybody's healthy. That's part of us honing each other. It's Heart of a Symbol production. Well, we strive to blow up your old paradigms. And I humbly say that I am out. And we will be developing a 7-step course. Peace.